YouTube is like my diary. So I'm gonna vent whenever I feel the need to. Because I wasn't gonna make this video, but fuck it. People gonna feel how they wanna feel or think how they wanna think, regardless of if you express yourself or not. So why silence myself? Because just so other people won't feel a type of way. Like, if it's my truth, it's my truth. All right, so people have this misconception about me. If I'm pretty sure none of you know, but people have this misconception about me that I feel like I'm perfect, and I feel like, or they feel like I think that I'm perfect and that I never make mistakes and that I never do any wrong, and that's how people, feel about me. But I strive to tell them, like, I'm not perfect. I know I'm not perfect. I make mistakes. Um, and no, my opinion is not right 1,000% of the time. But a lot of the time when I do speak, which I speak on things that are important, I'm not one for ignorance. So if you're speaking on surface level stuff, like, I'm not just, going kiki ha with you just because it's something to talk about. Like, so normally when I do speak on something that is it's on a high vibration. And so, like, with me being the only child and growing up and being, in my space and not having other people around, it allowed me to spend time with myself. And honestly, like, the things that I do has a name for it, which is now spirituality. But all of this stuff that I do now and that I'm just finding out it has a name for, I've been doing since I've been a child. I've been into crystals before I even knew crystals had a healing power. I just thought they were rocks. You know what I mean? Or, like, I just thought they were stones. Um, to this day, I'm pretty sure y'all heard me say in some video that I still have my tiger's eye from when I was in either second or third grade when we went on the field trip. My tiger's eye stone actually has an eye in it, and that's been the only stone to follow me. Like, I used to have a fool's gold, I used to have amethyst, I used to have a tourmaline, I used to have clear quartz and rose quartz, but all of those crystals from second, third grade are no longer with me, but tiger's eye is. And in specific, it has an eye. Matter of fact, I will show you her. I I I say that she's a her. She's feminine energy. Wrong box. Going to the wrong box. Um, yeah, like, I didn't know anything about crystals or the healing powers of them, but yet I've had this since I've been in second grade. I've always been into the stars. Like, one of the things I've always wanted to do is spend a night on a trampoline, and just, like, spend the night with somebody, whether it be friend or spouse, and look at the stars and just sit up under the stars on a nice summer's night and just camp out there on the trampoline, and then jump when you feel like it, lay down when you're tired. Like, I don't know. But this is my baby. I don't know if it's focusing, but here's the eye. Let me see if I can focus the camera because I am using my phone's camera. I'm not sure if y'all can see that, but there is see that dot? Oh man, if I could turn around my camera, y'all can see it a lot better. But there is an eye on the end of my tiger's eye. I wish y'all could see it better. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll take a picture of it and I'll have it as my video thumbnail so y'all can see. But this is the very stone that has been following me and has kept up with me, and I've kept up with it since the second grade. So it is very important to me. Y'all might can see the eye right there. It's on the end. This camera is not doing much justice. It just looks like it's shiny, but it's not. And then when I hold it up close, it's blurry. So, like, I've always been into poetry as a child and journaling, and I've always been into striving to find raw vegetarian. I wanted my foods as clean as possible. And when I didn't have that, I always felt like it was something missing. And then when I found out about what raw vegetarian was, I it was home for me. It was like, yes, this was what I was looking for. So all of the things that I was as a child has, like, I was doing it before I ever knew it had a name. It was my first nature. So it was always me. It was always me. And a lot of people don't realize that, like, I used to ask questions as a young person, like questions that even older people in their lifetimes don't ask. So I didn't know what intuition was until my 20s. I didn't know that, being in tune was a thing, but I've been in tune since a child. So, like, I spend a lot of time, I spend a lot of my time in introspect. I spend a lot of time studying myself and, why I do the things that I do and how I come off to other people and making sure that I consider them in, how they feel with my actions towards them or my lack of actions towards them. And I don't know if I feel like that's not a bad thing. I feel like people should be self aware and self accountable for the things that they do. But I'm learning to realize that not everybody, is like that. Not everybody thinks like me. Not everybody feels what I feel. And that's a personal truth that is kind of hard to swallow, or a personal reality, or just a reality that is hard to swallow, because I run into a lot of people where I feel like, okay, well, if the shoe were on the other foot, I would have not done that like that. I would have done that the most natural way to have done it. But I can't think like that, because if that were the case, then like everybody in the world would be like me, and then we'd all never have any problems. But a lot of people just feel like I'm perfect, and it's like, no, I spend a lot of time in introspect, so I'm very careful. And I need to dig deeper into my chart, because I'm pretty sure there's a deeper way of explaining it, but I'm just very considerate of other people. And sometimes I miss the beat. Sometimes I haven't always been this, sometimes I haven't always been this considerate of other people. But through my times of learning myself, understanding that there is deeper knowledge um, around that I wasn't aware of, and coming into that, it has made me grow closer with myself. And so a lot of the times when people bring situations to me and I have an answer, they get mad, because they be like, well, you think you know everything, don't you? And it's like, no. But at the same time, people be like, oh, you always got an answer for everything. Well, isn't there always an answer for everything? Like, you can't just say the sky is blue. Like, there's a reason the sky is blue. And somebody knows the reason why the sky is blue, or why sand is broken up in particles, or maybe these examples are just things that are just is what it is and you can't explain. But there's usually an explanation for everything, and there's usually, a deeper level to surface level things. So you can't just expect to ask me something and I have not thought about it. Or you can't just, especially with me, especially if it's something about myself. Yes, I understand that people outside of you may see things that you don't see, because you may be doing something that other people don't see. But I study myself a lot, and I just feel like I'm very misunderstood when it comes to my peers, because I don't have a malicious or ill intent bone in my body. And I mean, yes, I understand that everybody could be, everybody got two sides to them, where you know, they can be nice and sweet, and then they can be, they can be nasty. But I'm not just the type of person that I'm just nasty off rip just because I can be. You know what I mean? Like, I come to everybody neutral as can be, because I don't know you, you don't know me, I don't know your past, I don't know, why you move the way you move, I don't know why you do the things you do. Like, I don't know. So I can't just come to you and prejudge you and say, oh, I'm going to treat this person like this because I think this is that and the third. No, you got to show me first. So I go based off of people's actions. So when people start showing actions, I don't think they realize, because they're doing it, it's an unconscious thing that they're doing. And so, I just go, I'm very observant. I will say that, like cats, I relate to cats a lot because cats, they like they sit back and they watch. They might be hiding behind the trees or the bushes or whatever. They're just very observant, and I think they're like protective. They're not observant to pounce on you, or they just on guard. They just ready. They just on go. That's just like tigers, cats, just in general in nature. Big cats, they when they trying to hunt, they have to be very calculated unless they ain't gonna eat. So I feel like I'm the same way. Like I'm just a type of person that I'm observant. I don't strive to be observant. This ain't something that I try to do. It's just my nature. And I'm tired of feeling bad because people feel like I'm judging them, or I'm, out to, you know, pick out their flaws or whatever the case may be. I just call things how I see them. Hell, I pick out my own self. Like, this is, I'm not absent or I'm not off limits for the way that I think, you know what I mean? And if I feel like I'm wrong, if I feel like, okay, maybe, this person didn't mean this like that. Like I put myself in other people's shoes too and strive to come out with a balanced perspective of it because I am a Libra sun. But I'm also that Aries moon, and that's fire. And I have short patience, and I have very little tolerance for people and their bullshit. And I have very little tolerance for people not being able to put themselves in the position of other people. Like, people be so quick to fight over stupid shit. And it's like, if you think about it, is it really worth it? Like, do you have little self control? Do you have like so little of self control that you can't control yourself in a situation? Like, I'm not saying like every situation is like peace is needed, but when we really think about it, like there's a time to fight and there's a time to love. Like there's a time to ignore shit and there's a time to address shit. There's a time to, you know, yeah, I mean that pretty much sums it up. There's a time to ignore shit and there's a time to address shit. And I'm starting to understand that not everybody's maturity is at my level. I'm not saying that I'm better than anybody because I feel that way. You know what I mean? Like, that's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying I realize and I understand certain things, and that's okay. I'm tired of people striving to tell me that I just think I'm perfect. Nobody is perfect, and quite frankly, what the fuck is the definition of perfect? Or the definition of, I can't say normal because I was about to say it is some things that you can be like, okay, that's normal and that's definitely not normal, okay? But what is the definition of perfect? Perfect varies. Like, if you strive to be perfect, you'd be like a robot. Like, you're here to make mistakes and go through things in a way that may not fit your ideal plan because the universe is the seer and the knower of all things. So therefore, like, your plan may, you may see things one way, but the universe may have something way bigger and better for you that may happen in a different way than you thought. And I feel like I kind of went off topic when I said that, but yeah, I just, that people misunderstand me, and I just don't want to be in the space of people really no more because it's just like I feel like I'm always having to explain myself, and I'm learning that it's just better for me to let people think what they want to think. Because even when you strive to explain these things to people, people always be like, oh no, you just think you're perfect and you don't think that you made a mistake. Nah, I know when to apologize. Like, if I know truly and dearly, like, I fucked up, and I may have did something to a person that made them feel this way, or may have I may have assumed something that wasn't, and I acted off of my assumptions, and I hurt that person's feelings. And if we communicated and talked about it, and we both came to a mutual agreement that, hey, like, this is this is why I felt a certain way, and that's why you felt a certain way, but ultimately it could have been avoided if I would have just addressed, this a certain way. Then I'll apologize. Like, I have no shame in apologizing or being wrong, because I'm human. Like, I don't strive to fake perfection or whatever, because we're not perfect. We're gonna make mistakes. And in life, that's how you grow from things, is when you you did something wrong, and how you learn how to correct it. So people just really on my fucking nerves. I will say that. And like, I be striving so hard to be nice, but people just really bring out my mean side. Cause the shit that people do to me, I don't do to them. Like, I don't do to them. You can't. If I name shit that people did to me, it's gonna always go back to you did it first. And I don't be petty. Like, I'm the type of person where I pay attention to people's patterns, which would require you to pay attention to people's actions. Because, like I said, people show you everything. Like, people show you everything. If you just sit back in a room and just don't talk and just let people talk, like, people tell you everything. And I have a person in my life that says that I sit back and I listen, like, I sit back and I scope because I'm hating on people. No, it's just I I'm an observant person, so I may catch things. I notice things. I don't notice it to use it against you and be like, oh, you said this and you did that and you, like, what the fuck? What kind of unhappy person do you gotta be to go around just trying to tell people about themselves? Like, no, like, you do you. If that's what you want to do, okay, by all means, go do that. It ain't got nothing to do with me, but that doesn't stop the fact that I notice it. You know what I mean? But if it's something that comes and it's addressed to me, and that person is asking for my opinion or my view or whatever, then I'll bring that to their attention because they're asking me to bring it to their attention. But I don't just collect observances to go and deliver these observances to people. That shit lame as fuck. So people just, I misunderstood, guys. I fucking stood, and it's so annoying. But that's why I am cat-like, and I just sit back and be the fuck quiet, and I only speak when it's time to speak. Because there's always a time to speak. There's always a time that when you observe things and you start to change how you interact with certain people, and you start to deliver the energy that you're getting from them, you start to mirror their energy. Like, there will come a time where shit has to be addressed, because they'll start observing, okay, dang, she ain't moving like she used to. She don't talk as much as she used to. She don't, do this as much as she used to. Like, it'll come a time, whether the person addresses it or not, it'll be something that they eventually notice. And some people just catch on later than others. I don't fucking know, but I do know I need from people to stop being like, oh, you think you're perfect. Oh, you think you're this. Oh, you think you know this. Oh, you think, well, 9 times out of 10, like, I don't like to come with, I don't like to come incorrect. Like, I like to come correct. So with me being a raw food chef, like, I want to come correct. I want to make sure I know my stuff before I open up a business. I want to make sure that I got all my ducks lined up and they all in the correct spot and stuff, so things can go through smoothly. Like, I don't want to come to situations looking stupid. Like, I don't want to come to situations off of assumptions. I don't want to come to things looking foolish. I don't like looking foolish, number one. So I'm gonna make sure that if I'm speaking on something, if I'm addressing something, then it's been confirmed. Just better believe that it's been confirmed, and I'm justified for the way that I feel. You know what I mean? But if I don't have enough evidence towards it, then I'm not gonna chop it up to be like, oh, that's exactly what it is. You know what I mean? Because that's just foolish. Like, if you don't know for sure, then don't go off of that just because of your emotions. And also, like, with my emotions, I feel like I'm starting to kind of like detach. I feel like I've mastered the art of detachment. I can always reattach, but I mastered the art of detachment because um, attachment brings a lot of disappointment. And so when you're detached from a lot of things, a lot of time you don't end up disappointed because it's just like it is what it is. You know what I mean? Because I've been in a lot of situations where I've been attached to things that have disappointed me greatly, and I don't like the feeling of it. So I practice detachment without knowing what the fuck a detachment was like. But I'm mastering that because again, people, which I'm not even sure if they're supposed to, people don't reciprocate what I put out. They just don't. Because I guarantee you this, if I stopped doing the things that I used to do, like just being overly giving and just, nah, don't worry about it, and just calling people and texting people and giving things to people and being there for people when they call, and going out of my way to give even when I don't have to give. Not that anybody asked me, it's just that's just my heart. But if I stopped doing a lot of those things, I would not have anybody left in my circle. I wouldn't. That's just like that meme where they were like, I started matching energies and I got two cousins and one friend. Like that's real as fuck. It's real as fuck. So if I move different, if I seem distant, if I seem nonchalant, if I seem detached or emotionalist, it's just because I'm just reserving my energy. I'm working on myself, and working on yourself doesn't require you to be an asshole though. Like it doesn't. And that's not what I'm into. Like I'm always kind. I'm always kind regardless. I'm always gonna show you respect even if I don't like your ass. Like if you in a room or whatever, like chances are I'm probably gonna act like you not there and ignore you and not say nothing to you. But if I don't like you but you speak to me, I'll speak back to you and I'll keep it moving. But I'm just never gonna go out of my way to be disrespectful just because. So again, like I said, if I've ever acted any type of way towards a person, you better believe it's not just because I feel like I'm stuck up, or I feel like I got it like that, or I feel like, no, chances are you've shown me something that put me in a place of it being, oh, this is how I have to meet you, because this is how you are. So I'm just gonna meet you right there where it's at, and I'm not gonna expect no more than that, because you've shown me that I can't be this way with you. You showed me that I can't interact with you like that. You showed me that you're not that kind of person. So I'm just gonna meet you where you at, and it is what it is. You know what I mean? So if anybody else struggles with that shit, where y'all are very like in tune and introspect, and again, let me say this before I leave, just because you are a introspective person and you are deeply into yourself and in tune with yourself doesn't mean that you are not capable of making mistakes. I understand that. I understand all that. And that's the thing, people don't feel like I understand that shit. I just feel like I'm not in a egotistical way. I just feel like I deeply understand shit that a lot of people don't understand. And that's just fact. You know what I mean? And I still have a lot to learn. That's the thing. I still have a lot to learn. A whole lot. But from the place that I'm in, I just feel like I'm very, very, very wise beyond my years. And I'm just really tired of explaining myself to people who don't take the time to understand the place in which I come from, especially especially because I take the time to understand where people come from. And I'm such an empath that, like, if somebody is speaking, I'll be able to pinpoint what it is they need, and if I can kind of sense what it is they need, I'll send them a resource that has everything to do with what they just expressed that they needed but didn't know they were expressing that they needed this. You know what I mean? And it's to help them. And I'll do that just because I want to see other people happy, and I'm here to be a service to other people. But a lot of time, again, when I do that shit, people get mad at me because I'm sending them resources to help themselves. Like, y'all just think I'm sending resources, or y'all just think I'm giving advice, or whatever, just to make myself feel good. Like, no, me making you feel good makes me feel good. So why would I send you anything to like disembalance you or like upset you? Like, it doesn't make any sense. But okay, that's just the logic that people have. And also, I was about to say something else before I ended this video too. Um, I was about to say something else before I ended this video. It had to do with people getting mad at me about helping them. Oh. I'm not a person that's gonna tell you what it is you want to hear. Like, I'm gonna tell you what you need to hear. And people get mad at me for that shit too. They call me judgmental. And it's like, we are all judges of our own like selves each and every day. Like, the Hall of Mayat. Is this the Hall of the Hootie? The Hall of Mayat. It's one of the two. It's where you walk, the Hall of Judgment, excuse me. You walk down the Hall of Judgment, and the Hootie is in charge of that. And then you have Mayat, where you put your heart on a scale, and it's on a scale with a feather. And if your heart is heavier than the feather, then yeah, that's not a good thing. But if your heart is as light as a feather, then you've been doing good deeds. You're a good person. You've done right. But Judgment Day is not. It's something that you go through every day. You're to judge yourself every day to make sure that you're on the right path, to make sure that you're living righteous. Excuse me. To make sure that you're living righteously, to make sure that your thoughts are pure, to make sure that you're exiting out negative, toxic actions. Like, your judgment of yourself every single day. You judge fucking food before you eat it. If you go to somebody's house and they got animals and they cats and shit lick off their plate, guess what? You already judged that you not eating at they goddamn house. Okay? Like, you judge shit every single day. You judge what kind of clothes you gonna put on by what the weather told you it's gonna be today. So I mean, like, if I have an opinion about something now, if I have an opinion about something, like, don't call me judgmental because I have an opinion about something. Like, just because it doesn't resonate with your opinion doesn't mean that, I'm being judgmental. Like, I mean, but everybody got their different definitions of what judgmental means. Everybody got their own different definitions for what everything means. Like, loyalty, everybody's definition of loyalty differs. So everybody's definition of love or friendship or a sister, like, it differs. Or, of what a father or a mother means. Like, everybody's definition differs. So you just have to find and align with people whose definitions match yours ultimately, because you're going to end up with a lot of disappointment. So it's just best for me to detach from shit. And I'll attach to the people that show me the energy that I put out, you know. So yeah, all you motherfuckers, stop telling me that I think I'm perfect. I know I'm not perfect. I don't strive to be perfect. I can't help that I think about things on a deeper level, and that I consider people before I do things, and I consider things before I do things, and I think deeply, very, very, very deeply. Okay? Just because you don't understand me, just say you don't understand me. Don't try to, demonize me, because a lot of the time, I'm gonna end on this. A lot of the times when I say shit, when I say stuff, a lot of time people don't agree with me at the time, but they always come back to me and be like, you did say that. You did used to be like this, is that, and the third. It always happens. It always happens. And I ain't trying to feed into ego. I'm just letting you know, if I'm speaking on something, 95% of the time, it's accurate. I just had to rant, y'all. Thank y'all for listening if y'all watch this whole video. Let me know if y'all resonate or if y'all go through some similar stuff, or because it's real out here. That's why I like my own company, because your peace is the best peace. Like, I have so much peace when I'm by myself. And I'm not saying that I want to be lonely, because I do want, great people around who have great energy, and I can share, and we can share, ideas and concepts and knowledge and love, and you want that energy to reciprocate. You want to be around like-minded people that resonate with your soul. So it's not saying that, oh, I don't need anybody, I want to be alone. Like, we're humans, we interact, we need other humans around. But at the same time, the kind of humans that I be interacting with, goddamn, I'm just better by myself. Peace, love, and light, y'all. Peace.